Howdy Goshen High School, my name's Ben Cranston.
And I'm Zeb Adams.
And we are going to bring you this week's news.
Attention seniors, Mr. and Nat would like to remind you all that between now and prom, if you have four or more unexcused absences, you will not be able to attend prom. As of late, our overall attendance percentage has been pretty poor, so in order to help reinstate the importance of being on time every day at school, Mr. Nat unfortunately is going to have to bring down some tough love on all of us to help get us back into the swing of things. It might be our last year, but we need to make sure that it's our absolute best to not, miss half of it. So.
Also on the list, Mrs. Dewar is collecting pull tabs to support the Ronald McDonald House. Just go to her room and bring your pull tabs from your pops. You can pop them off and put them in the bin, and it helps raise money for a good cause. The Ronald McDonald House is a great cause, so bring in your pop tabs.
On Thursday, February the 16th, the library will be closed during A lunch, however, will be open during B and C lunch. So if you need to visit the library for whatever reason or just need to chill during lunch, you might want to keep that in mind.
Thanks for watching Goshen High School. It's been good. Bit of a light news week, but next week we'll be back with the news again. To Liz Short with weather.
Hello everybody, Elizabeth Short here bringing you the weather for this week, and we're going to get right started. High is going to be 58 and a low of 40. Saturday is going to be also partly clouded with a high of 64 and a low of 45. And Sunday is going to be partly clouded with a high of 66 and a low of 46. Really great weather for this week. Monday is also going to be partly clouded with a high of 67 and a low of 50. And that concludes this weather for this week. On to Savannah with the sports.
Welcome to GNN Sports. The Lady Warriors basketball regular season is over, and congratulations on a fantastic season. The boys basketball team has its senior night Friday the 17th at home against New Richmond, with the freshman game tipping off at 4:30 p.m. 18th, the boys will travel to Blanchester for the SBAAC League Tournament. Good luck. The University of Cincinnati men's basketball team is 22-3 and now ranked number 18th in the country. The Bearcats have games the 18th at home against Tulsa on ESPNU with a noon tip-off time, and then UC will also play the 23rd at home against Memphis at 7 p.m. With many close games this season against highly ranked opponents, the Ohio State Buckeyes have come out on the losing end and are now 15-11. With a narrow win over Nebraska last season, Ohio State will look to sweep the Huskers on the 18th when Nebraska will travel to Columbus. That game is on Big Ten Network with a 6 p.m. tip-off time. The Buckeyes will then turn around and play number 11 Wisconsin at home on the 23rd at 9 p.m. The Dayton Flyers men's basketball team are 19-5 and are currently ranked first in the Atlantic 10 Conference. The Flyers have upcoming games on the 18th at home against St. Bonaventure on NBC Sports Network with a 2 p.m. tip-off time, and also on the 21st at home against George Mason at 7 p.m. The Xavier Musketeers are 18-7 and are ranked second in the Big East Conference, only behind number 2 Villanova. The Musketeers will play the 18th at Marquette on CBS Sports Network at 8, and then right after, Xavier will travel to play at Seton Hall on the 22nd with a 7 p.m. tip on FS1. Now we're going to break down the top 10 college football players that are entering the NFL draft. The projected number 1 overall prospect is Myles Garrett, a 6'5" defensive end from Texas A&M. In 2016, Garrett had 32 tackles and 8.5 sacks coming out of the SEC. The projected second overall pick is defensive tackle Jonathan Allen out of Alabama. Allen is 6'5" and 295 pounds and had 56 tackles and 8.5 sacks for the Crimson Tide this season. The first offensive player in the top 10 is running back Leonard Fournette out of LSU. As a 6-foot running back, Fournette had 843 yards on 129 attempts and 8 touchdowns. The number 4 prospect is also out of LSU. Jamal Adams is a 6'1", 211-pound safety. Adams had 70 tackles, 1 sack, and 1 interception in 2016. Number 5 prospect is also a defensive player. Solomon Thomas is a 6'2" defensive end coming out of Stanford. In 2016, Thomas had 54 tackles and 7 sacks. Keeping with the trends of defensive players, Malik Hooker is the number 6 overall pick, and he is a safety out of Ohio State. Hooker is 6'2" and 205 pounds, and he had 67 tackles, half of a sack, and 6 interceptions, which is the highest in college football this past season. Wedged in between 2 Ohio State defensive players is running back Dalvin Cook out of Florida State. Cook is 5'11" and 206 pounds, slightly undersized, but has definitely shown his power. On 288 attempts this season, Cook had 1,765 yards and 19 touchdowns. The number 8 prospect is also out of Ohio State. Marshawn Lattimore is a 6'1" cornerback that weighs 192 pounds. Lattimore had 37 tackles and 4 interceptions for the Buckeyes in 2016. As we continue the dominance of defensive players, Reuben Foster, an inside linebacker from Alabama, is one of the best in the country. Foster is 6 foot and 246 pounds and had 94 tackles and 4 sacks in 2016. The first player from the now national championship team Clemson Tigers is wide receiver Mike Williams, who comes in at number 10. Williams is 6'1" and 221 pounds, and he's one of the best wide receivers in the country. In 2016, Williams had 98 receptions for 1,361 yards and 11 touchdowns. Keep watching GNN for coverage of March Madness, the NFL Draft, NHL, and NBA Big Game. This has been Savannah Dura with Sports on GNN.
So I went to Xavier University, and I loved it. I went there for 4 years, and I continue to go there for my degree. And some good and bad experiences. First of all, Xavier's a small school, so anytime that you're at a small school, you feel like you can go to your professor, you can go to your teachers, and they will help you with whatever you need. I would say, for some advice of people that are going to college, I would say you really need to know how to study. You need to think about what you're actively going to do when you sit down and make study time. Otherwise, it's easy to get distracted. I think that time management and being organized is really important.
Summer Adkins with weather. To
Summer Atkins. Atwood.